Hello everyone, this is the Cow Gamer here. Today, we're gonna do a requested narration video, and I hope a lot of people would love this narration because it's Luigi's Mansion related, as explained by my two most popular videos of all time. This was requested by Storm the Polterwolf, which 6 months ago requested a narration of Polterpup's origins, and I accepted that challenge. So, here it is, Polterpup's origin story. Fair warning, it is very depressing and very sad if you're an animal lover. Polterpup was the youngest pup in a litter of 8. Times were hard on Polterpup, due to him being smaller in size than the rest of the pack. He was constantly bullied and picked on by his older siblings. Though his small stature came with an advantage, he was able to run faster than all of his siblings, and hide in small places to avoid them. His mother never rejected him, as they had a strong bond between them and cared and protected them at all cost. The dogs lived on the first floor of the Scarescraper, which was a rundown apartment that was later abandoned due to complaints of it being haunted. This was the home of several stray dogs before being exhumed for bad odor and several noise complaints. Many dogs in the building, including his whole family, were taken away by animal control services. Some dogs were sadly euthanized due to their poor health conditions. Polterpup was heartbroken seeing his mother being taken away, and tried to chase after her. Noticing the small pup, workers surrounded and blocked Polterpup trying to capture him, but he managed to bolt around the other direction, climbed on some furniture, and jumped out the window of the building. The workers scrambled and chased after the small dog, sending them on a wild goose chase. Polterpup bolted towards the forest of Evershade Valley, hiding into thick shrubbery. He stayed quiet, not even making a peep, and silently lied down as the workers continued their search. The night sky began to grow. The workers were no longer searching for him. Nothing but the sounds of crickets were accompanying Polterpup. The coast was clear. Polterpup slowly popped out of the bush and continued to find shelter. While on his journey to find shelter, he stumbled upon a towering greenhouse, littered with plants of all varieties, and stood a giant oak tree in the middle. Polterpup knew this was the perfect home. He squeezed through the metal gates and looked for a place to rest. Luckily, the tool shed of the place was left open accidentally, and so Polterpup was able to rest peacefully. Morning sun filled the tool shed with a bright light. Polterpup was woken up by the beam of light, shining, and the sensation of hunger. He went off to find the giant pool of water near the hydro generators and drank as much as he desires. Still tempted to find some food, he ventured through the garden to find whatever he could chew. He settled on grass and began chewing on it like a cow. Not ideal, but it was the only choice. This eventually got him noticed by the botanist owners, Sister Lucinda and Sister Herlinda. They try to approach and comfort the small puppy, but Polterpup starts running off until being blocked by a fence. Cowering in fear, Polterpup starts barking and tries to scare the sisters away. The sisters ignored and picked him up anyways. Polterpup whimpered and struggled to escape, but eventually calmed down after the sisters gave him food. He immediately started barking with joy, wagging his tail, and jumped all over the place. The sight and smell of food was a huge relief. He was just eating grass moments ago, and now was treated with meat. After his meal, Polterpup started to become playful and licked both sisters, knowing his days of homelessness were over. The sisters then gave him the best luxury lifestyle he could ever have: clothing, stylish grooming, and bathed him in a nice warm bath, all with lit candles to soothe the stress Polterpup had. The sisters then started playing with the pup in the garden, watching him run around and chew the many toys he had. They then tried to introduce the small puppy to the other sister, Belinda. She did not approve of having him around, fearing that he would destroy her precious Flora. The three then ensued into an argument. Polterpup was frightened by the abundance of yelling between the three. This led to the same night where Polterpup, Lucinda, and Herlinda slept fondly. Unbeknownst to them, Belinda had waited for the perfect moment for a devious scheme. She slowly picked up Polterpup and traveled to the dry desert near the old clockwork factory. She bolted as soon as she arrived. The next morning, Polterpup was awoken by the immense heat and dusty environment he's in. Confused, he wandered around the factory, desperately trying to find Lucinda and Herlinda. He was then approached by some factory workers who noticed the small puppy. Confused and worried, they first tried calling out whoever dropped off the dog, but to no avail. They eventually decided to take him in as a supporting assistant to help around the factory, which was built above some ruins, making it part of a mining facility. It was an everyday task for the workers to not only produce the finest watches and clocks, and mine and discover artifacts, but to also care for Polterpup. He was given basic needs like food, water, and bathing, and even proper safety clothing whenever he needed to go down into the mines. After a while, Polterpup started handing over clock hands, keys, and pickaxes to the workers, but that didn't stop him from being playful, as he sometimes ran away from workers with hands and tools in his mouth, or played hide-and-seek with them. The series of work and hard labor paid off for several years until one day, after several workers filed complaints about numerous safety concerns, the vast amount of rumors of the ruins being cursed, and some protesting about having a dog around a dangerous working environment, the owners had no choice but to close the factory/mining facility down from the many safety violations the place received, leaving it abandoned with everything from equipment and working clothes being frozen in time. This led to the question of who's going to care for the now 5-year-old dog up in the air. Feeling guilty that they were the ones who brought the dog in the first place, the unnamed workers voluntarily tried to adopt Polterpup, but he was eventually given to an old globe-trotting museum owner who decided to invest some of the artifacts from the factory. Polterpup's next home he was taken to was the Globetrotter's own manor, a giant museum full of artifacts from around the globe, many regarding his manor as the most precious and luxurious. Polterpup's stay was pretty brief, as the owner traveled from place to place, leaving the dog all alone with no one to care for. All he could really do was explore such a huge home he was in, but this only made him pretty bored very quickly after a while. This was noticed by the nephew of the owner himself, who decided to take the dog to his own quiet home. Polterpup was confused and stressed on the many places he'd been moving to. Knowing how awful the dog felt, the new owner decided to reward him with treats every day to comfort and relieve the stress Polterpup felt for many years, as well as giving him his trademark red collar. This was the perfect home Polterpup was given. The owner even made him a new house for him to sleep and relax outside in the backyard. Things are going well for both the owner and Polterpup, but it all came to an end for Polterpup, unfortunately. One night, the owner gave Polterpup a giant bone as an award for being man's best friend. The owner went to sleep that night and left the bone in Polterpup's house. Polterpup was so excited to see such a treat that he tried to swallow the bone whole. This was a deadly mistake, as the bone was lodged into the dog's windpipe. Polterpup was panicking and whimpering for his owner to help, but to no avail. All the dog can do is try to cough up the lodged bone out of his throat as best as he can. So he tried, and tried, and tried, but it was still stuck. Out of breath, Polterpup walked inside his house and lay down, dying a slow, painful death. The next morning, the owner went to check up on Polterpup, only to see his unresponsive corpse with the bone still lodged in his throat, inside the house. The mass devastation filled him with grief and guilt, wishing him that he would never give him such a treat that size. He gave the dog a proper burial, and boarded up the doghouse to forget the traumatic scene, and hoping that no other dog would meet the same fate. Polterpup's life was harsh. He'd seen his mother taken away. He had a distrust in people who'd try to take him away. He's moved from place to place infrequently, and felt betrayed by his new owner. It was never his fault. Polterpup was just a playful and cheerful dog who wanted nothing more than a home and a loving caretaker. While at first he was very mischievous, he is now resting well with his new owner Luigi, taking him on many adventures as they go. Whether it's relaxing by the fire near him or finding clues in a haunted hotel, there's no doubt about it that Polterpup finally has gotten the proper home he ever wanted. You were a good puppy, Polterpup. You were a good pup.